Hey, what's up, collective? It's your girl, Jaylah Soleil. Welcome back to my channel, Akashic Rhapsody. I hope you're having or have had, if it's late for you, a most excellent day today and a good week overall. I felt compelled to jump online and pull cards for you to get a message out for you today. So I'm just going to jump straight into it. Today I'm going to use one of my favorite decks, and I feel is one of the most simple to actually learn and read if you're just starting to get into this sort of thing, the Light Seers Tarot. And I love the cards because the artwork is so vibrant and beautiful and nice to look at. So let me go ahead and shuffle. Apologize for the noise. My microphone is picking that up. If you are sensitive to sound, you probably should lower the volume. Alright. Father God, Holy Spirit, Holy Angels, Ancient Ancestors, beings of the highest light, please come through and help me channel the message for my collective. What does my collective need to know today? Interesting. First card out, Two of Swords. Somebody, you might be at a crossroads with someone. Perhaps there is, usually the Two of Swords talks about being at a stalemate at a crossroads when it comes to a major decision or not seeing eye to eye with someone. In this case, this lady, she's got a blindfold over her eyes, and there are two crows above her head kind of squawking in her ear, trying to give her a message. There's a message that I get a sense that you're trying to pretend that you don't hear or see something. Tell me more. Tell me more, Spirit. Okay. Next card out is the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is the ultimate in terms of long-term stability, financially, physically, optimal health, happiness, and prosperity. Let me more. Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups can represent a person who, this could be somebody that's very charming, very charismatic, potentially might have a romantic interest in you, or just expression of love in terms of towards yourself and others. And we have the High Priestess, and give me one more. Ooh, okay, well, I got two more. They both came out one on top of the other. So at the bottom we have the Ten of Swords, and then on top we have the Hierophant. First, I'll show you the High Priestess. High Priestess represents somebody who is tapped in terms of overall intuition, third eye, seeing beyond the veil. Or this could be just somebody that has deep, intricate knowledge about things that more or less they don't necessarily see, but they feel it. They can see visually, like in reality, but you can feel it, you can see that which is unseeable. If that even makes sense to you. It might not be physically manifested into actual reality. Like you can see whatever it is right in front of you, but you see it in your mind's eye. It's something about your spiritually, you can see whatever this is. And then Ten of Swords and the Hierophant. Ten of Swords to me represents, sometimes it can represent a betrayal. I feel like in this case, she's got her back turned looking at the sunset over the horizon. You've got a slew of crows kind of following with her. This could have been something heavily on your mind that you are learning to kind of turn your back on and realize whatever was said, whatever you saw, whatever you've been stewing about mentally is finally kind of at an end. And everything that happened was to teach some sort of lesson. The Hierophant is almost like the equivalent of the High Priestess, except this is less. This somebody is spiritually tapped in, but they're more so focused on what they can see, what they can verify within the actual physical realm itself. And it also could represent traditional pathways, institutions, following, what's been kind of already set in stone, what's existing, versus trying to do something outside of the box. Sometimes the Hierophant can represent the Most High himself showing up in the reading, or access to the Most High. So let me look at this for a second here. So one thing that I'm getting is there could be somebody here who is wondering whether or not this ideal picture of happiness in terms of, the white picket fence, the American dream, the if you're an American, the having the husband, the wife, the children, the dog, the regular stable 9 to 5, the business, whatever is your idea of a perfect dream life. Somebody here is wondering whether or not this would ever come through to fruition. Whether you're going to meet that perfect someone, that Knight of Cups that just comes in and really loves you, adores you, gives you what you need in terms of ultimate fulfillment, in the way that you are wanting it to happen. Someone's wondering why something hasn't played out the way they wanted it just yet, in terms of, I get a sense here there are some of you who have possibly had a hard time in terms of dating, previous relationships. Maybe you're in the middle of a relationship right now, or a situationship right now, or for a very select few, I'm hearing somebody is questioning whether or not they married the right person, whether they made the right decision in terms of the current commitment that they're in. Let's say you're not married, but you are living with somebody, or in some other arrangement outside the traditional religious, coming together of folks. You're wondering if I'm hearing, is this it? Is there all that this is? Because I get a sense here that, I mean, the Ten of Pentacles is the ultimate in terms of everything, but because it's pentacles and not cups, that tells me you could possibly be somebody that has everything in terms of just like the physical, the financial, and that sort of thing, but the romantic piece, the the cups, that emotional fulfillment might not be there. You want somebody here wants someone that is going to match or provide their idea of what a true romantic partner is. And they're wondering why, what am I doing wrong? What is it about me that I can't seem to have or manifest or attract this particular person to me? Am I not deserving of what I truly want? And Spirit is saying with the High Priestess here, it's not that you're not deserving. It's not that you're necessarily doing anything wrong. I think the reality is you might, with the Ten of Swords right next to this High Priestess and the Hierophant on top of that. Okay, I'm going to say this very delicately. Please don't take it unless it resonates, but there could be a situation where some of the individuals that have come into your life or you're dealing with could have possibly been a bit of a test. Perhaps you prayed for something. You prayed for something, a particular person or a situation to manifest, or you might have cried out and said, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of that, and you decided you're going to set certain standards for how you were going to conduct business and relationships going forward. And the Most High said, all right, Most High, your spirit guide said, bet, okay, we're going to test that theory to see just how healed you really are. And you might have been sent another example of a similar situation that you dealt with in the past, or a person that perhaps doesn't respect your boundaries or doesn't listen intently the way that you need them to listen, doesn't seem to do an equal give and take in terms of you're constantly giving them something but they're not giving back in return in the way that a proper two-way streak relationship should be, where they're filling you up just as much as you're trying to fill them up. They were sent in to test to see, okay, are you really truly over the past? Are you done settling for less? Or are you going to stand firm in your boundaries? Or are you just going to do the same thing you've been doing over and over and over? Perhaps maybe you tweak the situation a little bit in terms of your approach and technique with people, but you're still attracting the same person. And Most High, your spirit guides are trying to see just how genuine you are in terms of you really truly stand on business and you're not willing to settle for less than what you know you deserve or what you want now. With the Ten of Swords and this Hierophant, that's really what I'm getting here, is that number one, you need to learn to stop settling. Number two, if you really truly are done with dealing with a certain type of individual or being in a certain type of situation, you've been there, done that, then you really have to start standing in business in terms of when you cut certain things off, the timing in which you do it, how you stand firm in your convictions and what the Holy Spirit has called you to act and dwell on. Like, it could be, another example would be TMI. I'm gonna say this delicately because this is YouTube. Maybe you're somebody that has decided you want to be celibate and you're not interested in giving it up for any and everybody, and you don't care how long you've been talking to this person or whatever. You decide, okay, well, I might have did such and such in the past, but moving forward, I'm not going to engage in this type of behavior anymore until I really know that I met that one that's serious about committing to me, and I want to be, I want to be married, or I want to be in whatever type of whatever commitment means to you. I'm a heavy proponent for marriage. I respect and believe in that sanctity, but I understand not everybody does, and that's okay. But whatever commitment means to you, unless you're ready for someone to be, and you know that they're gonna do what is necessary to meet you halfway, to be in this commitment and do things the right way, you're just not engaging in the typical casual activities or things that other people are doing. And I'm hearing respectfully, I'm not everybody else. I'm not everybody and their mama. I'm not. Or I'm not like him. I'm not like all the guys you dealt with in the past. Don't treat me as such. These are my standards. This is what I'm willing to take and what I'm willing to not take. I'm definitely getting that there are, this reading applies to, a variety of different genders, specifically male, men, women, however you identify. I'm hearing it goes both ways. It applies to both sides. And so God is, the Most High is testing you to see, okay, are you really about that new life now? Or are you just going to go back to doing the same thing you've done before because of past trauma, things that you believed you healed from, but you really haven't, because you're not changing your behavior. You're not stepping into that new person that you said you wanted to be, that's going to attract the people to you that you actually want. Um, or at least be in a state where you're in the appropriate energy, persona and mindset, to where you can discern and you can detect, what you used to deal with in the past versus what you're willing to deal with now. And you decide, okay, I'm not even going to talk to or deal with this person because I already see where this is going. And I promised and told myself I was going to deal with that again. So I get the sense that somebody is still being tested. And I don't want to be harsh to say that you're failing the test, but somebody is not trusting or listening to their intuition when it comes to a current romantic partner or ones that you've recently dealt with. And two, I'm also getting that it could be a possibility that perhaps there is a new person coming, or somebody that you're dealing with who you might inadvertently be running them through the ringer because you haven't quite let go of whatever this trauma, it was past betrayal, or just somebody is in their head a lot about, and has a tendency to over analyze every little thing people do or say because they've been hurt before. I'm hearing, I've been there, done that, heard that. All of this is looking familiar. Like I've been through this before. I don't want to do that again. But at the same time, okay, I'm trying not to confuse y'all. The energy is kind of a little confusing. Now it's like somebody here believes that they have healed, but they haven't fully, and they are still following the same patterns of behaviors that they have done in the past, where they've been in relationships that really have not fulfilled or sustained them, not in the way that they have been wanting, and they're wondering, like, is it a me thing? Is it, you're don't be the type of person that takes your trauma, your hurt, things that you have been through in the past out on new innocent people, if that makes sense. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be a doormat or somebody that just lets any and everybody in. I'm saying work on your discernment to where it's so sharp and it's so keen that you won't jump into a commitment or deal with somebody at all, because you already know within a very short matter of time, possibly from first meeting this person, that this is not it. It's not gonna work out. And you decide not to waste your time or this person's time trying to get them to change and be a certain type of way when... Okay, another message that I'm getting that I hope will make this more clear. Somebody, maybe one or two people, are currently in a relationship with someone now, or you're starting to get into a relationship, or this person could be coming within the next... I'm seeing a span of... in the next 2 months, or possibly 5 to 10. This person is coming into your life, and you need to make sure that you don't self-sabotage from the standpoint of, like I said, over-analyzing, nitpicking every single thing that this person does or says. I get that this person is going to be a romantic, going to be the person that you pray for and ask for. At the same time, they might be a bit of a sharpshooter. They might be somebody that is focused on... somebody who is really driven and focused on... could be self-care, it could be business, it could be a lot of different things, and their vision and way of expressing love and showing that they love you might be a little different than what you were used to, or maybe even what your idealized belief of what love is. I'll be honest with you, there are a lot of us, myself included, I was like this at one point, where everybody is looking for the Twilight shit, and, excuse my language, respectfully, that is not to say that you don't have people that fall head over heels, but like that, to where they would be so intensely into you that y'all die and go to war for each other and all this type of stuff. In the beginning, there's a lot of that happens. The hormones are rushing. You go through the honeymoon phase, but real, true, authentic love that is unconditional is something that, if you work hard at it, can stand the test of time. But it is not going to be 100% picture perfect, like... what am I trying to say? This person wants to, dote on you every day. This person constantly buying you gifts every day. This person is up your butt every day. Especially if you're somebody that believes in marriage or jumps into a marriage, when you go before the altar and they say for better or for worse, literally, when you take that vow, it literally is for better or for worse. Shit is going to happen. You're going to go through seasons, dry seasons, warlike seasons where you don't even know, like, if you still, like, really care for or love each other, because the stress gets in the way, jobs get in the way, children get in the way, all these sort of things change how you interact with and how you speak to and love your partner. That doesn't mean that the love has broken down. It's just taken on a different form. Okay, people, over time, people age, people's bodies change. They don't look the same way that they did when y'all first met, when y'all were in y'all teens, y'all 20s, and all that type of stuff. Some people, and also too, our hormones, our brain chemistries, our interests, all of that changes ever so often. It could be every 5 to 10 years your person changes and starts liking and has new tastes, new interests, new hobbies, doesn't sound the same, doesn't necessarily act the same, and are you somebody that's going to be comfortable with said change? And also, it's a compromise, it's a commitment. You will be required to change too. You're going to have to find a way to meet, you and this person have to meet each other halfway. I'm getting back to my original point. My fear is someone here might be self-sabotaging from the standpoint of you have all this, you have high expectations of who this person is, what your ideal commitment is, and how things have to go, because you are looking for this validation, this intense love, these things that maybe other people weren't giving you, or you didn't get in your past, you didn't get from childhood, you just didn't get at all. Or maybe you did get it, but you still have, again, this idealized twilight understanding of what this intense, overly romantic love is. And the reality is your person might not necessarily not to say that they can't be like that, but I understand they're not going to be in that energy 24/7, just like you won't either. Um, and you don't want to come in overly critical, overly analytical, picking apart every single thing this person says or does, trying to get them to change and meet this exact ideal of what you have, of what your perfect person could be. And there's no such thing as that perfect person. No human being is perfect. No human being is going to 100% fulfill all of your requirements that you have in order for you to feel happiness and fulfillment within yourself. First and foremost, it's not fair to ask somebody else to be like this 100% perfect God-like being that does no wrong, that always can read your mind 100% of the time, that always knows what you need all the time, that always is going to act a certain way, do a certain way, and you're not willing to do anything to meet them halfway. You feel like you are 100% perfect and right all the time, and everybody else is just, something's often wrong with them, if that makes sense, because you have been hurt and you have been through it in the past. So now when that person you actually pray for comes around, like I said, or if they're here now, it's like you're trying to figure out, like, how is this gonna work? Is this even really my person? Because they just are. It's not giving. And for some person might be one select person, I'm hearing, is this a setup? There's no way this person could, like, be this legit. There's no way that this could, like, how is this gonna work? Like, this is just not, I have no faith, I have no belief that this person really is who they say that they are. Now, if somebody literally is being fraudulent in terms of their movements and all that, by all means, this is not your reading. If somebody literally, all the red flags are there, they've already pushed your buttons, they've already disrespected your boundaries, they don't align with anything that would constitute, okay, this is somebody I can work with, this is not your reading. But for those of you who, there is a person here who is a human being who, might not necessarily be 100% the ideal image of what you thought this person was going to be, but they're a good person. I'm seeing this person's attractive, they're kind, they're caring. They might be somebody who, I'm not going to be 100% romantic with you all the time because I'm worried about building this. I'm worried about business. I'm worried about getting to the grind. But I will still be there and show up for you in the ways that I feel I can, and show you love in different forms, and hope and trust and pray that you receive it. Um, Is this somebody that you can work with, or do they have to be this? Literally, some of y'all be having a long. I get some of y'all have like a long laundry list of requirements, like a long. But like, riddle me this. I'm gonna give you an example. Um, let's say you are the type of person that is really into or a stickler for looks, fitness, and wanting a partner that's going to, be the same size and shape as when you met them, or at least try to remain in tip top peak condition, because that's what you need in order to feel, some type of way towards them. And unfortunately, the stress of life, jobs, everything that's going on, especially here in America, there's wars and all other type of stuff going on. People are under a lot of stress. People working insane amount of hours. Some folks are, out of jobs and desperately trying to get back on their feet. There's a lot of things going on. Children, all types of stuff. For whatever reason, this person is going through a lot of different things, or they might be focused on other avenues in order to help make sure everybody's good and stable. And perhaps they just happen to put, fitness and trying to eat healthy and work out all the time on the back burner. Or they might have gained a little weight over the year. I mean, as we get older, our bodies change. There's no getting around that. Everybody you can eat whatever you want and drink whatever you want, do whatever you want when you're in your 20s. As soon as you hit 30s, the metabolism slows down. Everything, your hormones change. Everything starts to decline, and it continues to decline, unfortunately, as you get older. But that doesn't mean that you can't do things to maintain your health and your body and your beauty, your handsomeness, and all of that. But it's going to take additional work and additional time and effort. And sometimes it's hard to balance that with just the day-to-day stressors of life. And then too, are you the type of person that's going to do what you got to do to stay hair pressed, hair laid, makeup on, or if you don't wear makeup, keep it with your skincare routine, face looking good, glistening, smell good every day, tip top hygiene, stay in the gym, keeping your figure where it needs to be, looking like a full on celebrity or fitness model? Are you the type of person that is going to go the extra mile for them? Or is it just a requirement that you have just because you feel like that's what I deserve and that's what I'm gonna get and that's what I pray for? But when do we get to a point in time where we, like I said, compromise, meet people halfway, and know the difference between you asking somebody to go above and beyond to be something other than what they are, or maybe they don't even want to be, in order to make you feel good about yourself. When a lot of that, when it comes to actual happiness, is really our responsibility as individuals. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. They'll say, okay, well then, Brittany, what's the point of being in any relationship? I mean, it's companionship. All human beings desire and want companionship. But you cannot ask a person to take on the burden and responsibility of being your ideal, 100% perfect everything, because essentially what you're doing is asking them to step away from their authentic self, being who they truly are. And that person is never, what's going to happen is that person is going to never feel like they are ever enough for you. They're going to be trying to go above and beyond, do all these things, jump through all these hoops and ladders just to feel like they are enough. At the end of the day, it's never going to matter. You're never going to be satisfied, because the issue is not with them. The issue is within you. How can you help yourself feel more loved? How can you help yourself feel more stable? How can you fill up your own cup before you have the audacity to want to deal with or ask somebody else to do a bunch of stuff for you. Like it's, I hope I'm making sense, and I don't mean to say that in a harsh way. I feel passionate about it. I just want. I really do feel like somebody is blocking their own blessings. Their expectations of who this ideal partner is not necessarily aligned with the person that the Most High feels like you actually need, or who they made for you, if that makes sense. But one thing you're going to discover, for those who truly recognize and value this particular person, if you met the right person, is that over time, as you go through and weather the storms together, whatever those storms may be, that this person fulfill you and give you everything that you need, and then some. This person actually knows you better than, or can know you better than you know yourself. They know exactly what you need. They can feel you. It's just that they might not be the type to always say it, express it in the way that you ideally would like or want it to be expressed, but it's there. The love is there. It's just quite possibly it could be y'all got two different love languages, and yeah. Oh, this is running over time. I hope that all makes sense. I'm gonna get a few more clarifiers. Okay, so what does this mean for the collective? Where do we go from here? Where does the collective go from there? Nine of Cups. Yes, enjoy the moment, enjoy the bliss. Give this person room to breathe, and give them a way to allow them in their own way to provide effort, show that they care. Yeah, there's the Magician here. Oh, I'm not taking all that. That's too many cards. What else? Where do we go from here? What's the advice? There's Eight of Cups here. Three of Pentacles. I see that with the Three of Pentacles and the intertwining of you and this person. For some of you, you could have a child. You can have a child together. This is a good, solid, stable relationship. And I see still, again, with the Nine of Cups and the Magician, you have an idealized vision in your head of how this should go, or how they can fulfill your needs. But I think at some point, like I said, you gotta meet people halfway. You gotta be willing to compromise. You have to learn to love and value the ways in which they do express and they do try. And I'm hearing, just as much as you want somebody that loves you for you, this person wants you to love them for them, just as they are. And if they want to give you more, they can. They definitely can with the Magician here. This is possible. And with the Knight of Cups, you kind of have to take a step back and give this person room to breathe. With the Eight of Cups, you have to walk away from this burning desire and need for perfection and exact specifications, and just y'all work together and allow each other to just learn, grow, and over time that vision, the ideal circumstance, that love will manifest naturally on its own if it's meant to be that way. Yeah, there's a Ace of Wands, fire, spark, new beginnings. Somebody's getting their fire back. Uh-huh. Five of Wands and the King of Swords. If you got a King of Swords, the King of Swords is somebody that is very sharp, highly intellectual, and they're also, very direct in their language as they speak on things. This person recognizes, what triggers you, what can cause resentment, where you guys are breaking down in terms of with the Five of Wands here and your disagreements and arguments or whatever it is. They see through all of that, and they pay attention more now. They know better about what it is that they need to do, y'all need to do in order to make the ultimate happy. And look at that. Ten of Cups. There it is. All it took was a little bit of weathering the storm, learning about each other, learning different ways to communicate, talking it out, prayer, fasting, communication, and just like I said, give you both a room to breathe and be individuals. Maybe invest in a hobby or things that you have interest in outside of this person. Like, the more you grow within yourself, the more you work on your self-love, your development, your personal things that really make you happy and fulfilled, that person will be doing the same. Y'all will, notice the changes and things that are happening amongst one another. Learn how to forgive each other. Learn how to I just heard counseling. Somebody might benefit from counseling. Learn how to forgive each other. Like I said, meet halfway in the middle. Meet that person where they're at, so they can meet you where you're at, and y'all can learn and grow together. And as you do more of that love, that romanticism is naturally going to come into the fold or come back if you're already in, like I said, a committed relationship. Yeah, y'all grow together, closing out cycles with the World card here, leveling up, becoming different individuals. Somebody here is in a commitment, and both of y'all are changing at the same time. And you're recognizing the things that may have been missing in the relationship previously, or things you've been asking for. You could have been the type to clash a lot, but now you understand where all those triggers, where all that stuff is coming from. And y'all are actually learning to, I feel like it's starting at the spiritual level, learning to speak each other's love languages, recognize who you are as individuals, how you're changing, and learning to love each other as you are right now. You are enough. But then also, as you give each other room to breathe, like I said, you'll naturally, both of you will come around and start doing the overly romantic and whimsical fun things that you used to do in the past, or you always want to do, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm rooting for y'all, whoever you are. Ten of Cups is here. But you gon', like I said, some of you gonna have to get over the Moon card. There's a lot of things underneath that that are still underneath the surface that you gotta work on and grow through, and you gotta let go of. And Ace of Swords, you know what it is too. You know what these are. Some of you might be setting your ways with the Devil card here, but it's something you gotta work through, or else you're gonna be stuck in stagnant energy and wondering why your relationships and things constantly go to shit, because you are not that idealized person that you want or need, or whatever that you pray for, is not going to fully show his or herself until you as a person change and step into the energy you need to step into to be the type of person that respects their boundaries, not going to settle for anything less, no matter what's going on. By any means necessary, you're going to be happy, whether it's going to start with yourself first and foremost. You're not going to take any bullshit, any type of disrespect. You're also going to learn how to, when you do get in a relationship with somebody, meet them halfway. See them as a human being. See them as a person. See them as somebody that's going to grow and learn through various different seasons, just as you are, and not stop asking for 100% perfection from somebody all the time. It's you're just going to end up with somebody that's frustrated with you, somebody who might give up and start to resent you, start feeding you with silence, might check out, detach, because it's like no matter what they do, it's never good enough. They feel like they're not good enough because your expectations could be maybe too high. Um, and one more message, I'm getting very very specific, and I will let this go. Especially, ooh, I don't know if I'm gonna get flack for this or not, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Ladies, sometimes we be asking for we be asking for the most from these men folk. For some of y'all, it could be women too, but you be asking for the most from individuals, and you yourself, you're not necessarily energetically the pick of the litter either. You're not doing what you need to do to heal, change, or whatever. I keep getting that message. Stop taking your past trauma, your um your past trauma, your PTSD, your inability to move forward and work with people because you've been so hurt and shut down from past things that you should have let go of years ago, should have healed from. Or perhaps you were in something with somebody that you had no business being in. You saw the red flags there, but you kept trying, and they hurt you anyway. And instead of acknowledging and taking that L, that I really allow somebody to play in my face and allow somebody to overcross my boundaries and disrespect me, even after I told them multiple times, this has hurt me, I'm done, whatever. You still stay, you still try to make it work. Then shit happened, and now that you are in a position where you could just be stable and free, you're still dwelling on that. You're still allowing that to affect you, and you're bringing all of that into your next relationship. Now, again, um, I'm not telling you to let your guard down and just settle for whatever. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, at some point, you got to look at people as human beings, be able to meet them halfway, also have enough discernment to tell whether or not it's going to work out in the beginning, and stop over giving of yourself. Stop trying to make it work with individuals who y'all just don't align. You're just not a match, and learn quickly when it's time to move on. Um, yeah, I hope that made sense. I hope that resonated with somebody. If it did, please let me know. You can leave me a like or a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. And uh, I'm going to work on some more readings for you. I'm thinking about bringing some more pick a cards back, so I'm excited about that. Stay tuned for that. But until then, I hope this helps. And yeah, I wish you all the best of luck. And I'll say this too. I really wish we could get to a point, as a society where we can just we are healed and whole enough to where we can kind of um, stop the gender wars and begin to see each other, each side as, individuals in turn and uniqueness in terms of our differences, how we think, how we operate, what we need, what we want, how we're biologically wired, and be able to communicate in the way where everybody hears everybody, everybody understands the other person's point of view. There's no fighting, no arguing, no trying to throw folks under the bus, no name calling, no none of that. We're not constantly taking our, like I said, our past relationships and trauma out on everybody that falls under a particular gender group or class, because historically this is what you've always been in, done, or attracted. At some point it's like, change your energy, change the way you move, change the way you interact with people, change your standards, what you're willing to deal with and accept, and do it in such a way that you don't have to be nice, but be kind. Okay, still be kind to people. People are human beings at the end of the day. Everybody goes through shit. Everybody is lacking something in terms of what they can't do or can't fulfill, can't give you. Everybody has made mistakes. Everybody has different ways of seeing things, hearing things, perspectives, opinions, ways of working. And it's about time that we get to a position where we can, like I said, we're grown and healed enough to where we can just continue to see each other as human beings. Um, like I said, you don't have to deal with individuals, but still be kind. Still be kind. I mean, Lord knows we all need it, especially in this day and age, right? All right. Well, that's it. I'm going to start parping. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.